Now live. So welcome to the Slam Jam Championship Wrestling Show here. I'm David, this is Dave, and that's Ian, and John Cena is out of our lives forever. I feel so good about that. How do you guys feel about it? Let's just jump straight into things.
Oh, God. Well, I was saying to Ian off there, I'm just sort of glad we're at the tail end of it all now, because this week, in terms of reactions to the Cena retirement, have just been so utterly ridiculous on the most part. It's just been banal towards the end of this, because it's just I don't think I've ever seen a reaction to a retirement or a match result like this in years. I can't think of the last time we've happened.
Yeah, no, like what? Just people being unhappy about it.
People being unhappy about it. People booing the finish and all that sort of stuff. People thinking that he should have won or done the last sort of thing. Yeah, it's all conjecture. Everyone obviously is entitled to their opinion about how the match should have ended and the way it was done and all that sort of stuff, which I know the three of us will definitely give our takes on. But at the end of the day, he was saying right at the start, this is going to be my last match. If you were really expecting him to win, I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, I just want to bounce off of that, saying that I thought it was disgusting that he lost. I'm outraged. I'd have booed the place down. They need to get rid of Triple H. Now, I don't care enough to actually have that stronger feelings, but I think they made a mistake. They could have just sent the crowd home happy, because Gunther forever will be like, I'm the man that ended John Cena. And I just don't. I don't like the career killer gimmick. You know, the legend killer's been done. But go on, Ian.
No, I appreciate that that take, and that you're not being frankly unhinged about your dissatisfaction of it, which, as Dave said, has been absolutely crazy this week. But I think if you watched Raw and you listened to the reaction that Gunther got, like, you can't say that. Like, you can say that he didn't need it, which I think was some of the discussions that we were having in the weeks building up to it, which, okay, he didn't need it, but you can't say that it hasn't done anything for him, because the reactions that he got on Monday, I was chatting to a mate of mine and saying that I think up until now, you could say Gunther is maybe a night one main eventer. He's got that's maybe his ceiling. And I think now he could main event night two against Roman. Like, I think that he has that much momentum. So whilst he didn't need it, it was absolutely the right call for me. Poorly executed, which I'm sure we'll get to, but like, it was the right booking decision.
Now, my thought on his momentum is, do you remember when the New Day turned on Big E? And it's like, oh my God, these are the greatest heels of all time. Yeah, let's see how well they do with Gunther's momentum. Now, obviously, he's very good in the ring. He's always a heel, but usually people also kind of like him. But we'll see how much they can keep this momentum going, because I have my doubts.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what made me laugh, though, about talking about what they did with the New Day, or what rather they didn't do, considering there was, on the same show that we just had Gunther on, we also had Usos versus New Day in one of the most disappointing offerings either team has ever given. Yeah. So they've done nothing with the New Day in a calendar year, which is a booking decision that is something you can lay at Triple H's feet. You can also lay at Triple H's feet the abysmal Cena heel run, regardless of how good the turn was, and one of the worst WrestleMania main events I can remember, being the first Cody and Cena match. Nobody was booing the creative then, because their guy won the 17th title. I genuinely believe it's as petty as that. Their guy lost, and they threw toys out of the pram about it.
Absolutely. Dave, any extra on that, or?
I mean, I'd say I think Gunther is more of a made man now that like you say, and I too. I think definitely. I mean, I foresee him possibly going on to retire some other people. AJ clearly is the next.
Definitely.
AJ Styles clearly the next in line. Then you've got what I think is going to be the WrestleMania match, Gunther versus Brock. And I think that's giving him a lot more momentum there, because you can have people will cheer Brock. But his allegiance and all that sort of stuff, and what he's done in real life, people still going to cheer Brock, so he could be the face in that situation.
Is Brock going to retire this upcoming year? Because
that's the rumor that I've heard.
But it's like
SummerSlam is in Minneapolis.
Saudi Mania is like a year later. So doesn't he want that paycheck?
Probably.
Yeah. So
does Cena want that paycheck? Like, how long until Cena gets tempted?
It depends how well. Look, if Netflix don't continue with Peacemaker, then maybe that's actually an interesting dynamic there because they have a conflict. Something we often speak about on Geek Battle is the fact that if Netflix are buying Warner Brothers, they were saying that they'll get rid of the new Superman stuff and bring back the old Superman. But John Cena was Peacemaker in that as well. So I think John Cena's okay either way. But I don't know. We'll see. It depends how badly things are going for whether or not Cena suddenly's like, shit, I need to get back in the ring. Or if WWE or Netflix are like, we need to do something to boost this up.
I get the impression he's going to be some sort of public speaker now. He'll go the Mark Mero route. And might be like
you know what? I totally am on board with the idea of him being the Mark Mero route. Because not slagging off Mark Mero here, but that sounds about what his level would be. Every interview with him, he's just considering every response. And I'd say, what would you think about that? I'm like, shut up, John. It's like, this doesn't sound believable. You're not that good an actor. Stop trying to get into Undertaker's TED Talk. Right. But yeah, we'll see what will happen. But I didn't even think the match was very good, which was a shame. The tap out at the end, it felt completely unearned. It completely felt that's what's wrong with it. If they'd gone the Austin route of like never give up and then he passes out, now you've got the complete story. And the referee can look, if you raise the arm and drop it 3 times, you haven't given up. But he's got him, he's going to pick him up and then elbow, and Cena's smiling as he goes away to heaven. This wasn't Patrick Swayze at the end of Ghost. Yeah, exactly.
But I think there is a way of performing what they booked that would have been as compelling as they wanted it to be. I just think John Cena is a terrible actor, and he delivered it. He did his best, but it came across. I think it might have even been you, Dave, on the group chat that kind of said it just came across as a bit smug and a bit like none of the previous 20 minutes matter at all, and he's got me in a chokehold. But yeah, good job, kid. Even the way he tapped his hand, it was abysmal. So I don't think that him passing out would have been a better call. It might have saved him some embarrassment for it not looking so stupid and so meme worthy. You know, it's now the image on our group chat is his smug little face. But yeah, I just think that in terms of that, it came down to the execution being pretty poor. I agree with you, David, that it felt a little less than earned because I think Gunther should have mauled him. I think he should have absolutely destroyed him. And if he'd have sold it better at the end, maybe we'd have got that impression more. But...
Well, yeah, I think we're still paying the price of Ric Flair's retirement. People being like that, Shawn Michaels, I love you, I'm sorry moment. And then stay down, and like Bully Ray retiring, he's like turns around the table, turns back round, I'm a beaten man, so you just need to come over and put me out of my misery. It's just like, no, fight, you asshole, fight until go down swinging. This is what I want out of these people. Stop trying to get an Oscar-winning moment.
I never thought I'd say it, but I think Bully Ray sold his moment by that table better than Cena sold the tap out to the sleeper.
I agree. that isn't saying that Bully Ray's TV was good, but I agree he sold it better. Yeah.
Excuse me.
The only thing I disagree with you guys on is the unearned bit. I think it was earned in terms of what they get, but I think the actual performance of what happened from Cena is what took away the earning of it. Yeah. And like you said, previous 20 minutes, but it didn't matter at the end. Because I think that was the whole story. You've seen things before when people are they're hitting the move, and they still kick out, and they're getting back in the move. which is what Gunther was doing. It's a bit, and I only say this because someone on X put this a clip of this match up on theirs and said this is how you get a babyface to tap out and make them still like look good and like defeated but having to give up. And it was Angle versus Hogan. Don't remember the end of that match from 2002, King of the Ring, I think, where Angle's got the ankle lock and Hogan's just struggling. He's kicking it and all that sort of thing, trying to get the ropes, but Angle just keeps the ankle.
Is that why Hogan grabs the ropes?
He has no choice but to tap out. Yeah, he goes to the ropes, but Angle sort of breaks for a moment and then brings it back in.
Oh, hang on, that's not quite how I remember. I know there was a time period around then when people would grab the ropes and like Angle would just pull them off of it and the ref not actually break it.
I think like technically sort of like would bring it back in, but then sort of go like that and then like very quickly.
I'm going to see if I can find it.
But I don't know. That is the point. I think it might have been a case of just then sort of having a little fun with the rules. But this is my point, though, is that was an earned sort of heel like win over the valiant good guy who never gave up. And you could have absolutely had that. You could have absolutely had Cena just going off. I can't get this guy off of me. Okay, I give. That's it. It didn't have to be like this whole thing of. All right, fine.
Yes.
He could have done his little sanctimonious smile after having tapped. If he'd have sold it, even as you just did, Dave, in your like little recount of what they could have done, your facial selling was more than he did in that. And so if he'd done just the tiniest microcosm of, oh, I wish I could, but I can't tap, then lay there and smile because it's done. And like you gave it your best and you couldn't hold on anymore. And,
okay, hang on, guys. Wait, hold the phone here. Right, one second. Let me just bring this up because I'm about to get hot, brother. Right, check this shizzle out. Right, I'm going to risk the copyright strike. Check this shit out. Look, there's Hogan, there's Angle. Watch Angle. He touched the rope. He touched the rope. What the frick is wrong with that referee?
For a moment, he wasn't like holding on.
That's a rope break. It's like, oh, you only lifted your shoulder for a moment. Look, that will become relevant when we speak about NXT in a second, I'm sure, right? But a kick out or a rope break is a kick out or a rope break. This is the referee that is a clown. But anyway, so if they'd done that, and then people could have been like, Cena was robbed, he touched the ropes. But anyway, Cena's gone now. And what Goldberg must be like, no one protested that I lost. But
exactly.
Yeah, sorry. The other thing I was going to say is like the internet is such a weird place. Everyone's like, look at the way they're hounding Gunther. It's like, no, they're not. They're running after him with like for selfies, the same they would if it was Rhea Ripley. Like they were like they had to have security get him to the car. No one went near him. No one rushed him 1 inch.
They're selling it though, aren't they?
Well, yeah, exactly. So is that WWE spinning the shit, or is it just the internet trying to get clicks, or both?
I didn't get the impression it was a WWE video. I thought it was a fan video.
Yeah, but that could still be a WWE video.
I did think the way that WWE sold it though was bizarre. The beginning of Raw, like because the Gunther segment was so great, the heat was so high, and I think Gunther played it to perfection. And then he comes back and he has a little run-in with like R-Truth and Otis, which is fine. They can be annoyed that their hero's gone. But then Adam bloody Pearce comes along and like gets right in his face with his, I hate Adam Pearce at the moment, I really do. But like gets right in his face, kicks him out of the building, and like Gunther won a wrestling match.
Yeah.
That Adam Pearce booked him in. He won it clean as a whistle. And came out and he gloated a bit about it, but like I thought the reaction they booked Pierce to have was just ludicrous.
How dare you gloat about a win?
Right? Yeah. How dare you be a heel?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do to punish you. You're going to have the night off.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so look, someone's made this image. It's a really good image, whoever made it. Goldberg, John Cena. Oh, next target they've put on AJ there.
When you say someone's made it, someone's spoken to an AI bot to make it.
Right. I don't think that doesn't look like AI. I don't think like the background might be, but all of the photos look legit. But yeah, like I don't want that to be the gimmick. It's just like let someone else have a different story for the end of their career.
Is there not an argument though that the more you give Gunther now you've done it twice, like pilot on, think of the person that beats Gunther, like not maybe this year, but maybe in Saudi WrestleMania or maybe later that year, someone finally dethrones him. Like I think, if there are people who are ready to retire, pile it on. I don't know if it does anything for anybody else.
I just want I want them to say to Brock Lesnar, like, okay, you're retiring against Gunther, and whatever our feelings are, because I don't want this angle to go on. I just want Brock to be there, and it's just like, no, I'm not doing this, and just turn it around, choke him out, and then that's just the end of this storyline. Done.
That would be my big fear, is that he would treat it like the Ambrose match. Like if you get the Lesnar that can't be bothered, it's going to be dreadful. But if
I was saying that the Lesnar that's laying there thinking is like, this is Gunther. Now it'd be interesting to see Gunther in MMA, see how he'd do, because presentation wise, before Brock joined WWE, it was similar to the presentation of Gunther. Now, obviously, Lesnar went and then proved himself in UFC. But imagine the guy that's like built up like CM Punk. It's like, hey, I can do MMA. And then we saw what actually happened. And if just Lesnar was just like, actually, I want to do Saudi Mania. Go on then, Dave.
I was going to say, I blinked and missed CM Punk's MMA career, but
yeah. It was good. It was something special.
Certainly something.
It was awful. But it goes to show he came back from it eventually, and it didn't seem to damage anyone's perception of him. So
nothing seemingly can.
Nothing. Well, I don't know. Like, maybe. Like, people still go crazy for Punk, but obviously,
I was talking about Brock. Sorry.
About Brock. Oh no, yeah.
Not Punk. Punk's fine in that regard.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Did you see, speaking of...
Never been accused or anything like that.
Speaking of MMA, did you guys see Ronda Rousey? I'm trying to remember who she was talking about. But she... was it Becky Lynch? It was some women's... No, it was Stephanie Vaquer. And she said, oh, she's great. She's a great wrestler. But I'd beat the crap out of her in a real fight. It's like, oh, Ronda, what are you doing?
Yeah,
what are you doing?
What's the point of this? Because like every time she opens her mouth, she seems to just like be like solidifying that. Oh, okay, I don't want to wrestle anywhere ever again, and just burn some bridges.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, who cares? Let's move on.
Okay, so let's come on to what's it called? NXT, a title change that wasn't meant to happen. How are they? So, and they played the wrong music, is my understanding, right?
Well, they were expecting Blake Monroe / Mariah May to retain.
Yeah,
but they had that music queued up.
You've got like two buttons. You should have them both assigned. It shouldn't just be
if you think the whole show's going to be made on the fact that someone's going to be winning, I mean that's happened multiple times, isn't it?
But they got like Windows Media Player open or like a record, and they're like, no, flip it over. It's just like they really revealed their hand a little bit there. But what do you think?
Not for the first time. Remember that time the Dudley Boys like someone scored an early fall on something, and the Dudley Boys music hit during a Hardy's versus Dudley's match. And Matt Hardy scored a very close 2 count or something like that, and the Dudley's music suddenly hit. It's like, oh, I wonder who's winning then.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's the first time I think I've seen an accidental title change though.
No, I've seen. Well, okay. This kind of will count. Do you remember WrestleMania 2000 where Hardcore Holly accidentally became the champion, the hardcore champion? Was it because the time was meant to run out and it didn't, or was it that Crash tried to get it and it did?
So if I remember the Botchamania clip with whoever was talking about it, I think Tim White referee had the timer in his ear, but the actual timer that the arena had was 1 second later than it was. So he got the countdown. He said he nailed it apparently, but then they suddenly didn't ring the bell, and he's like, what? Yeah, so they had to get
hardcore. I remember Hardcore Holly. It's like you were planning to be Crash Holly, but if you've said hardcore, you're already all in on that.
Yeah.
Right. And then did you see the promo? Hardcore Holly went backstage, and whoever he spoke to is like, "So I'm the champion now, you little shithead."
That's Michael Cole. So they're talking to me like, Michael Cole, you little shithead.
Yeah. And clearly he just had something in his ear about McMahon, like, you're not meant to win. You've ruined everything.
That's what I quite appreciated about the NXT thing. I didn't watch the whole show or anything. I did watch the highlights, and they apparently had all this obviously stuff that they'd taped previously to then air on the show, and then they scrambled backstage, and everything was like that was to do with Thea Hale and Blake Monroe was redone and all shot live. We'll do it live, that sort of thing, and then they sort of just changed the angle a little bit on the fly. The sort of like the news sites are all saying that it's changed loads and loads of things going forward. I'm like, I don't think it's changed that much. Surely, they've got plans obviously for what they were going to do, right. But it's just I think it only really affects these two and maybe a couple of people that were going to maybe challenge at the next show or something. So I've had to switch it around. But
so one thing I just want to highlight in this clip again, like this episode's already cursed with the Angle Hogan moment. But it's just like her reaction. It's just like, what you meant to do. You meant to get a title, and it's just like, is she just like genuinely? She's like, I can't believe it.
Better style it out.
Yeah, style it out. Look at that face. She's like,
was just crying about the fact she finally won a title, and sort of her character's sort of arc has been that for a while, and her coming back from an injury for a long time, and. They sort of played it up quite nicely in that respect, I think. I like both of them. I think they're both very good, and so I don't mind them sort of carrying this on. Like I said in the group chat, they'll probably just reverse this, or put it back on Blake when they do the rematch. But I think they all handle it very well, considering they had so much change.
I think the biggest thing as well, I think in the plus column from my perception of it, is the fact that the ref did the job and counted the 3. Because then we can talk about it in a show like this being like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. I bet they were panicking backstage, but none of us are talking about like, oh my God, the immersion breaking, world breaking.
1, 2.
Like with the women's triple threat being the most recent example on SmackDown of that non-count, which is totally world breaking.
Yes.
Even though there wasn't an accidental title switch, which on paper seems like a bigger incident, doesn't it, to have this accident? But yeah, I think as you say, Dave, it's been handled about as well as it can be. Exactly. I think by all accounts they're not allowed to leave now. Is that right? They have to stay for the duration of the tapings in case something like that comes up, which makes sense.
Well, okay. I think that will only be the case if they're filming stuff for over Christmas. And it's like, we've got a tape show the next week, or we've filmed all our social media stuff for the next 2 weeks.
I see. So they're getting stuff in the can,
So, because okay, let's just look at a calendar. When would the next show be? So, what day is Christmas on? Christmas is on Wednesday, but basically they've not got shows next week.
Yeah, they've already taped 2 shows.
They've taped SmackDown, I think, that's airing tomorrow. And then tomorrow, I think and I haven't seen any spoilers, thank goodness. But I think on Monday they taped Raw and SmackDown, and then
they
tomorrow
taped next week's SmackDown before they've done this week's.
Oh, is it next week's that they taped?
Yeah, they taped next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so they're going to do this one live, and tape Raw as well tomorrow.
Yeah.
So those live crowds are getting double shows, which is good for them as long as they're good shows, I guess.
Yeah. The interesting thing though is that there's definitely times, and like we're in a different era of wrestling, but there's like stories from like the post the pre kayfabe breaking era of like WCW just taping things ahead, and they didn't tape a title change, and yet they taped stuff with Rick Rude with the world title or something, where he was like doing promos holding it, even though he hadn't won it yet on TV, or stuff like this. And then it either didn't end up happening, or it caused like big problems. But nowadays, if you've taped something like this, they could literally just say to any of the wrestlers, "We need you to cut a promo outside, looking like you're looking somewhere dark and shady on your phone, and send it in to us, and we can fill that time gap. Or they could put another like commercial in or something. There's ways around that.
Yeah. Well, some of the best stuff like recently that I can remember has been done in that kind of like self-taped style, like KO's run against Cody. Like some of the stuff in his car was just like outstanding promo work. So yeah, I think brilliant.
Well, and also look at the Dominic Mysterio invading his dad's home a couple of years
around for Christmas or something with Rhea.
Yeah, like Thanksgiving and then getting arrested for Christmas and stuff like
that. Excuse me.
But yeah, so there's always stuff they can do like that. Guys, what else is on anyone's mind? Still got about 15 minutes that I can spare here.
I was to say AEW, they're firing all cylinders at the minute. They did some shows in Cardiff and Manchester this last week. I watched the Manchester Dynamite for most of that earlier today, and a massive crowd, 10,000 people in there. Shows that maybe they should be branching out into areas that they're not necessarily constantly like having disappointing crowds in terms of this, but at least it stops the gammon accounts out there going, look, they've not half the arena's gone, no, they're not filmed. So that's all that. They've had some really fun stuff on there. They're doing the Continental Classic, which is going just having quality matches all for the most part. They've had the sort of like the angle with the world title match now, which was going to be a triple threat with Samoa Joe and Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland in a triple threat, but now has got MJF added.
MJF is back,
which is a big surprise for Manchester on the show. So that's quite a big turn of events, because I was thinking, why are they doing that triple threat again? They've done that a few years ago. So making it a four-way makes sense. The way it was done made sense because it was still the cash in that he'd won at All In. I know like there's still obviously there's still many flaws AEW are presenting, but in terms of a TV show and a product and a wrestling product that seems to be catching getting crowd attention and getting crowd reactions and things like that, and not being fully.
But when is the next pay-per-view?
The next pay-per-view is last weekend of the year.
Oh, okay. Wow, so they've still got a pay-per-view to get out this year.
Yeah, they've got to get the Continental Classic finished up, which they will do in the tapings that they've been doing, and with one final lot a week going into it. There's still some bits that are just unforgivably sort of amateurish. There was a clip of there was a thing involving Chris Statlander, Jamie Hayter, and I think it was one of the not Tekla, but one of the other girls in a Julia Hart, I think. And they got this whole thing of like Jamie's got lining up for like a clothesline thing for somebody, and then the other one, Statlander, sort of setting up, throwing the other one into in the way or something like that. So, but it's just the setup took so freaking long that it just looked really amateur. It was just one of those things of like, oh, you're so close to being a flawless product, and it's things like that that's like, it's too. They either don't get a chance to go over it properly beforehand, or they're just suddenly on the fly going, right, this is what you're doing. And they don't. They have to set it up.
Is it the wrestler's fault, or is it the camera work revealing how long stuff's taking?
In this case, it's the wrestlers, because it just took so long. It wasn't like a camera angle deal or anything like that. It was just the fact that obviously they're live as well. Obviously, doesn't help because if things go wrong, it's going to be seen.
Yeah. What was going to say? No, go ahead, Dave.
No, it was just. I would say it was just the fact of it just looking so set up.
Yeah, one of the problems they've got is that everyone's trying to do elaborate things and do things that you haven't seen before, but it means that if you're doing theatre in the round, right? So you're either going to do it so that it's good on television, then make a movie. But if you're going to do something, even if it does look good on television, if it looks garbage to the live crowd, everyone's got cameras there. So like at War Games, where everyone's just being like, we've got you here, just get in position, we've got your back. It's like, okay, it will look good on television, but then everyone's just filming everyone getting like, are we in position, are you ready, and go. Or do you remember like a couple of years ago with Bray and Uncle Howdy when LA Knight killed Uncle Howdy or something and threw him off of something high? And it's just like you just saw him jump into a crash pad.
Oh, he just jumped onto LA Knight, didn't he? It was
like, there was something that just completely missed, or there was crash pads, or and it's just
Jericho
like,
had a come off the top of Blood and Guts, didn't he? Similarly, with the thinking of crash pads.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah,
that was something to do with cam work of like why have you not?
Yeah. There's definitely stuff that can be fixed, but again, I think that the Jericho one may have actually been in the pandemic. Or there wasn't that many people there. Yeah. So they 100% could have hidden that.
Mm-hmm.
But all that also, like when it was the pandemic and we had all of Bray Wyatt or Matt Hardy's teleporting and stuff. I just remember, do you remember Matt Hardy's AEW debut where Jericho was in the ring and he teleported and it was literally like they would have done on 1960s Star Trek or Bewitched, where suddenly Jericho in the ring just moved like half a foot because they didn't just
do that.
Because like the idea is you film one person there and that's a continuous shot. You film the other person there and you just splice it so that you can't see there's an invisible join in the middle. But instead they just like cut like 3 seconds out where Matt Hardy stood up and Jericho had also shifted. It was great.
All you have to do, Jericho, is stand still. That's all.
Right?
Yeah. No, like okay, so we're perhaps a little bit premature for like New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. But I want to get a lot more back into wrestling. But like I say that just like there's so much and being able to see it all. But like AEW in particular, I know in the last few months. I've seen a few of the pay-per-views, but just trying to catch up week to week with Dynamite. Collision I haven't seen in years since Punk left, basically. But yeah, try to see it all.
If you have the sort of style of his matches, then which is quite hard hitting, but Carl Fletcher's Continental Classic matches have been really, really good. So look them up. One's against Speedball and against Pac this week were really, really good.
Okay. But yeah, like obviously now we're going to be going forward to we're closing out the year. If they've taped all of the shows, like is there a SmackDown tonight live or is it pre-tapes? I assume that there is still just going to be
what we were saying, wasn't it? And I think there's certainly something tonight.
Yeah,
they are taping a SmackDown and a Raw tonight. So by the end of tonight, all of next week is in the can.
Yeah, and then we'll be looking forward to 2026. We'll be on the road to the Royal Rumble. We'll be on the road to WrestleMania, and we'll see what's in store for TNA going on TV again. Well, they're already on TV, meaningfully on TV. AEW recently said that they're closing the gap, and in certain ways that's true. And Dave, what you said earlier, they should plan their year. They should think, right, we'll film a show in Wales, and then 6 months later we'll film a show in Scotland or something, just to be like, or London, just so they can hit the UK a couple of times, and they could hit some places in Europe, and then they could leave it. Like WWE, they were doing this where after WrestleMania, it took 3 or 4 months before America got a pay-per-view again. And by doing it that way, you can put your pay-per-views looking like 20, 30,000 people there because it's a once a year pay-per-view in France or in Australia or whatever. And AEW could totally do that. You know, AEW's, like I said about Collision, to me, their biggest problem was that after they brought in Rampage, but especially when they brought in Collision, they were now telling their audience, oh, well, we've got 2 arenas to fill up a week. And then they didn't have a strong enough audience to be able to fill 2 shows a week because it's not like they run house shows really ever. Like I think they've done it twice where they had a little run of house shows. But if they strategically choose where they're doing the shows, then they can be like, oh, wow, look, this product's hot again, you know, and build it up that way because perception filters down.
Absolutely. There was I don't know if you saw the stuff with New Japan, the Wrestle Kingdoms have their January 4th show is headlining with Tanahashi versus Okada. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that.
And that's Tanahashi's
retirement, right?
He's retiring, so they're headlining over the title match, which is the first times in 20 years or something like that they've done a January 4th show headlined by a non-title match, and like that for a long time. So yeah, that's going to be quite interesting. But I'm going to be interested to see what happens, obviously, weekend before, because I think the Continental Classic final is going to be Okada and Takeshita.
Oh, wow.
Where that'll probably be where it's going. Yeah, they've been building them fighting for like months.
Are they both still in the Don Callis family? Yes,
so it's part of the family. They're constantly just anytime they team up together, they just get into fights, and it's
the mega powers are exploding.
But they're both in the headline matches at in the Tokyo Dome as well, because Takeshita's got his unification match with Yota Tsuji over the world and international title, I want to say. So yeah, they got 2 big matches a weekend after. So they're going to be pretty beat up over a couple of weeks.
All right. Anything else just before we I'm trying to see if there's any breaking news before we begin to wrap things up here. Potentially have a couple of minutes if there's any other big topic on anyone's mind.
Well, do we have another Slam Jam before the end of the year? Do we want to do like our wrestler of the year, our match of the year?
We can talk about our nominees, and if we don't quite, I probably, but if we don't actually make it, then because like in a week's time is Christmas Day, so it might be. Well, I'll see, but if not, we can definitely confirm these at the beginning of next year. But who would you say are your nominees? Other than obviously Goldberg and John Cena.
You know me so well. Well, Gunther, isn't it? He's on top of our discussion list. I know you won't necessarily like that, but Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, I was going to say
conversation. I think Io Sky in ring has had a stellar year again. But yeah. And the women's triple threat is still, I think, my match of the year from WrestleMania.
Yeah. Dave, do you have any other nominees or people that's on your mind immediately there?
I haven't, as I do watch the shows, I haven't really had a standout from any sort of like retrospect in terms of things that I've really, really enjoyed. I mean, I'm just trying to think. So there's been so many different like things that have been going on in terms of what I think would be like the wrestler of the year, and that sort of
fizzles out.
And it's sort of like just unless it really stands out. I think the fact that I haven't been to like a lot of live shows like for ages doesn't help with that side of things either. But it would probably be, in terms of the wrestler of the year, I mean, obviously Gunther is in there again for me as well. But I would also say someone from AEW like a Carl Fletcher. I think is just as his skyrocketing in terms of that. Takeshita's another one who's been just his run in G1 and winning that and winning the IWGP title has been huge for him as well. And even just some sort of like lower level guys like Ilya Dragunov, I think, has come back and just been firing on all cylinders. It's that different. It's that sort of style I like that Ilya and Gunther sort of style where they are. Again, that goes back to live shows because I've seen them live and I've seen them sort of rise up the ranks in terms of their standings. So same with Fletcher, which is weird. So yeah, those are sort of ones I would be going with. So I'm going to have to put some thought into it. I was going to put a little thought into doing a little year-end quiz as well.
Oh yeah,
do like get as many of us together for a live quiz. I
like that idea a lot. Yeah. Okay, yeah, like I don't know who else. I think I need to give it some more thought because like at various points of the year I've been like even like R-Truth, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be huge here and stuff like this, and lots of people have had like good showings and stuff. Obviously, like
Jey Uso for you, right? Isn't it, David?
No, it's not. No, surprisingly not. No. Travis Scott was up there for a while, but that kind of tailed off a bit.
He was up on that stage for a while. God,
he was.
Of the year.
Yeah, but like Dirty Dom, like even Mr. Iguana is more in my thoughts than Jey Uso. But yeah, I will give that a little bit more thought. Right, let's wrap things up here, guys. Let's quickly.
One thing I will say though, let's not forget. Oh, actually, you know what? No, I won't say what did I say. I might have that as a quiz question.
Okay, so Ian, where can people find you?
You can see me here next week or next time.
Okay, Dave.
And David Jervis Green pretty much everywhere now, and yeah.
There you go. And I'm David Stansky. Follow everything Slam Jam. Until next time, stay safe, always stay extreme, and ciao for now. Boom, and we're off the air. Awesome, guys. I need to bounce straight.